Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button, so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks.
My name is Derek Lane. I'm from Clearwater, Florida, and let me tell you right now, never stay silent when someone abuses power just because they can. Because if you don't stand up, they'll walk right over you. They'll take what's yours, call it theirs, and make you feel like you're the problem. I learned that the hard way. But this time, I wasn't about to let it slide. Get that junk off our property, or I'm calling the county. Her voice cut through the salty morning air like a knife, shrill, entitled, echoing across the marina parking lot like she owned the whole damn bay. I turned the corner just in time to see Herkrin Wellington standing with her arms crossed, barking at the tow truck driver like she was the Queen of Florida. That's a registered vessel. I snapped, stomping toward them. You touched that boat and I swear. Oh, look who finally showed up, she smirked, turning to face me like I was gum-stuck to her Prada flip-flop. Do you even live here anymore, Derek? Because according to my records, that rust bucket has been abandoned for weeks. It's an eyesore, and I will have it removed. You tagged it as abandoned? Are you serious right now? I could feel my blood boil, my voice rising as my boots hit the concrete dock. That boat's been in my family for 20 years. You had no right. Karen gave a theatrical sigh, tilting her sunglasses down to glare at me. I have every right. As the HOA president, it is my duty to uphold the appearance and standards of this community. And your floating garbage can doesn't belong here. The tow truck driver hesitated, looking from her to me. You move that boat, I warned. Him, and you'll be part of a lawsuit so fast your heat'll spin. Karen didn't flinch. Oh, please, don't threaten him. He's just doing his job. Like some people who think storing dilapidated boats in public spaces is somehow okay. Public? I scoffed. You don't even know what you're talking about. This is my dock space. It's paid off, registered, owned. She chuckled bitterly, tapping her clipboard. Not according to our records. According to me, this boat hasn't moved in 31 days, which gives me the legal right to have it impounded. Your records. Lady, this isn't your kingdom. But it is my jurisdiction, she grinned. And until you can prove otherwise, I'm doing what's best for the community. I laughed out loud, not because it was funny, but because the audacity was so damn unreal. You really think just because you wear a name tag and hold a clipboard, you get to override state law? No, Derek. I think because you disappeared for a month and left your boat to rot. You've proven that you're not responsible enough to own dock space here. That was it. I snapped. I climbed onto the boat, marched to the cabin, and came back down with a thick blue folder, weathered but intact. I opened it, pulled out the paper's deed, ownership, maintenance, logs, and shoved them right in. Her face, here, read it. That's my name. That's this dock. That's my boat. She waved the papers away like they were flies. That doesn't prove anything. Oh yes it does, I said, my voice steady now, calm, but dangerous. And if you touch a single inch of this vessel, I'll make sure the board sees everything. Every overreach. Every fake violation. Every time you've harassed residents. Who didn't bow to you. Her expression flickered, just for a second, just long enough for me to see the fear under the arrogance. I'm not scared of you, she hissed. You should be, I replied. Because I'm not the same pushover who kept quiet when you fined me for a barbecue grill on my porch. I'm not the guy who let you block my parking space for event guests. Not anymore. Behind her, a few neighbors had started gathering. Watching, listening, some were whispering, some were filming, and then, dropped the real surprise. I'm also the new owner of Lot 13, the vacant property next door to yours. And guess what, Karen? I'm converting it into a boat repair. Business, she paled. You're lying. I pulled out the second document, notarized, time-stamped. Bought it last week. Cash, the crowd murmured. A few even laughed. No, I would have known. I would have heard. You didn't. Because I didn't want you to.
I waited.
I watched. And I let you dig your own grave, just like you've done with half this neighborhood. You can't run a business out of a residential lot. I can, I said. Because Lot 13, it's technically mixed zoning. which you would have known if you ever read the bylaws instead of just abusing them. Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again, and for the first time ever, Karen Wellington had nothing to say. So yeah, never underestimate the quiet ones. Never mistake patience for weakness. And never ever think that just because someone isn't shouting, they won't roar when it counts. If someone's trying to take what's yours, speak up. If they humiliate you, stand tall. Because the only thing worse than a bully is a bully with power who thinks no one will stop them. But you can. We can stay loud. We stay sharp. And don't ever let a Karen write the ending of your story. Now hit that like button if you've ever been pushed around by someone on a power trip. I'm gonna drop a comment if you think Karen got what she deserved. Part 2 is coming. Trust me, she's not done yet, asterisk. Asterisk. She didn't say a word at first. Just stood there trembling, jaw clenched so tight I thought her teeth might crack. The neighbors had started dispersing, whispering, shaking their heads like they'd just seen the school bully get sent to the principal's office. Some gave me nods. One old man actually gave me a slow clap. Asterisk, but Karen? She just turned around slowly, heels clacking against the dock, and walked away with that tight, robotic posture of someone trying desperately not to explode in public. Asterisk, I knew better. That woman wasn't backing down. She was retreating to reload. Asterisk, sure. Enough 2 days later, I got a letter on my front gate. No envelope, no postage. Just taped there like some mafia warning. Asterisk, Dear Mr. Lane. Asterisk, upon review of your vessel and surrounding property, you are now in violation of HOA Regulation 7B, unauthorized commercial intent. Your use of Lot 13 for business purposes will result in daily fines of $500 until further notice. Regards, Karen Wellington, HOA President. Asterisk, I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I knew she'd try this. I had the county zoning papers already stamped. I had the emails from the board. Even had video proof from the realtor explaining the mixed-use loophole right there in plain English. Asterisk, she was bluffing again. But this time I decided to play her game a little differently. I walked over to her house. Yep, straight up, middle of the day. Sun blazing, sweat soaking through my t-shirt. I knocked on her front door like a man delivering karma. Asterisk, when she opened, she was already in hostile customer service mode, forced smile, sharp eyes. Can I help you? Asterisk, I held up the letter. Just wanted to say thank you. Asterisk, she blinked. Excuse me, asterisk, for this, I said. Because now I can file harassment charges and submit an appeal to the HOA board for your removal. She just gave me the final puzzle piece. Her smile twitched. Oh, and by the way, I added, leaning in just slightly, I had cameras running when you tagged my boat. The part where you told the tow truck guy to just say it was abandoned? That's all on tape. I don't know what you're talking about, she said quickly. You will, I said. Especially when the neighborhood review board sees it at the next open meeting. And the HOA insurance auditors? They're gonna love it. Asterisk, you're bluffing, she spat. Asterisk, I stared at her for a long second. So were you, and I turned and walked away. 3 hours later, got another note. This one slid under my garage door like a guilty dog returning a stolen shoe. Greater than Mr. Lane, a pawn. Second review. Your lot qualifies under a previously grandfathered clause for mixed use. Consider this matter closed. Kay Wellington, she tried to make it seem like it was just a simple oversight, but I knew. She wasn't backing down because she wanted to. Oh. She was backing down because she realized she'd finally messed with the wrong guy. Asterisk, and that should have been the end of it. Asterisk, but Karen didn't stop there. No, she went lower that weekend. My tires were slashed. All 4? Asterisk, the next day. Complaint was filed against my business license anonymously, of course, accusing me of hazardous waste disposal into the water. Had the EPA at my door within 24 hours. It took everything I had not to lose. It completely asterisk, but I stayed calm. I documented everything. I installed more cameras. I kept receipts, because I knew eventually her mask would slip in front of the right person. Asterisk. And that day came sooner than I thought. It was a Sunday. I was working on the boat with my buddy, Jake, sanding down the old wood, radio blasting classic. Rock, cold sodas in hand, when we saw her storming across the lot, hair wild, phone out, fury written across her face. "Asterisk, this is a violation," she shrieked. "You're disturbing the peace. This is a residential area, not a asterisk, Jake. Turn down the radio, ma'am. It's 1 in the afternoon." "Asterisk, you shut up," she snapped. "This is your fault too. All of you, asterisk." And that's when she slipped. Literally, she tripped on the gravel, fell face first into a patch of soft dirt and landscaping mulch. Right in front of the neighbors pulling out for brunch. Silence. Then a car window rolled down. Someone called, "You okay, Karen?" Asterisk, she scrambled up, hair stuck to her lipstick, shirt stained, eyes burning with humiliation, looked around, saw the phones, the witnesses, asterisk, and she ran. Actually ran. Back to her house, asterisk, and that's when it all finally unraveled. Asterisk, asterisk, the next HOA meeting wasn't supposed to be anything special. Asterisk, it's just one of those monthly sit-downs where everyone argues over landscaping budgets and mailbox paint. Colors while secretly wishing they were anywhere else. But that night, the place was packed, standing room only. Even people who never showed up, the quiet ones, the renters, the ones Karen never gave the time of day, were there. Asterisk, they wanted blood, or at least answers, and I was ready to give them both. Karen sat at the front of the community clubhouse like a queen on a throne. Gavel in hand, flanked by her loyal-to-board members Roger and Lynn, both of whom owed their backyard renovations to her shady budgeting tactics. She smiled like nothing was wrong, like slashed tires, fake cetaceans, and public tantrums hadn't just happened. "Asterisk, let's get started," she said, fake chipper. "We'll begin with new business, asterisk." "I have a motion," I said, standing up, holding a folder fat with printed emails, screenshots, and time-stamped camera stills. Asterisk Karen narrowed her eyes. "Mr. Lane, you're not on the agenda, asterisk. I'm not asking to speak. I'm submitting evidence. Harassment, abuse of power, HOA violations. Do you want me to read it into the record?" Asterisk, the room murmured, cameras lifted, phones recorded. Even Lynn leaned over and whispered something to Karen, who looked like she'd swallowed a wasp. Asterisk Karen slammed the gavel. "Mr. Lane, that's enough. If you have concerns, they can be submitted." Asterisk already did, I interrupted. "But it seems the last 5 residents who submitted concerns about your behavior never heard back. Funny how that works." Asterisk, a woman near. The back stood up. "Yeah. I filed a complaint when my tree trimming request was denied, but Karen's cousin got a permit in 2 days." Asterisk, then a man raised his hand. "She'll fine me $800 for my shed being 2 inches too close to the line." But her friend installed a pergola. On the sidewalk, asterisk, the room was heating up fast. Karan's face was crimson. "These are baseless accusations." Asterisk, I flipped to the next page. "This is a copy of the zoning report you claimed didn't exist. This is the county permit you tried to override. This," I held up a flash drive, "is video footage of you telling a tow truck to illegally remove my boat. After trespassing on my property, asterisk I was doing my job," Karen stuttered, eyes darting to the board. "He's twisting everything." Asterisk Roger raised his hand. "Karen, is that true?" She didn't answer. Jake, my buddy, stood up from the back row and dropped the hammer. Asterisk, I also have a video, he said, pulling up his phone. "From the day she screamed at a 12-year-old girl for drawing chalk on the sidewalk. It's called it vandalism." Asterisk, a few people gasped. One woman near the front said quietly, "That was my daughter." Then it happened. The quiet old man who always sat in the corner, never spoke, just nodded at meetings, he stood up, and he walked straight to the front. Asterisk, my name's Mr. Daniels, he said slowly. "I was president of this HOA before Karen." Asterisk, Karen flinched. "Harold, sit down." Asterisk, I resigned because I was diagnosed with cancer, he continued, and I thought I could trust her to lead with fairness. But in the past year, I've watched this community divide. I've seen neighbors afraid to speak, afraid to live, all because of you. Could have heard a pin drop. I motioned to remove Karen Wellington from her position as HOA president effective immediately. Seconded, I said, my voice steady. Karen stood up so fast her chair clattered to the floor. You can't do this. You're all turning against me because of him. He's manipulating you. This is an ambush. Asterisk this, I said. Walking forward and placing the flash drive on the table is called consequences. The vote was unanimous. Karen stormed out. No goodbye, no apology. Just a gust of perfume and rage trailing behind her like smoke from a ruined engine. Asterisk. I didn't cheer. I didn't gloat. I just sat down. And for the first time in months, the room felt peaceful. It wasn't over, though. It's not by a long shot. Because 2 weeks later, I got a call from the state auditor's office. Apparently someone had been misreporting HOA funds for the past 3 years, inflating vendor costs, pocketing the difference, cutting deals under the table, and thanks to the evidence I submitted, they were finally launching an investigation. Asterisk Karen wasn't just petty. She was criminal, and soon she was gone. Moved out of the neighborhood in the middle of the night. For health reasons, someone said, but we all knew better. Asterisk and me. I rebuilt the boat, got my license reapproved. It's my little side business. Grew faster than I expected, started hosting eco-tours for tourists, teaching kids how to fish, giving back to the community that had once felt so cold. Asterisk people waved now, smiled, laughed again. Asterisk, and every time I looked at the dock. Asterisk, I remembered. One simple truth, the loudest bully is always the most afraid of being exposed. You'd think it would have felt like victory. You'd think, after months of Karen's madness, watching her finally drive off that night with her porch light still swinging, I'd feel triumphant. That I'd stand on my deck, arms raised, like I'd won some war. Asterisk. But instead, asterisk, I just felt quiet. Still, because it wasn't about beating her. It was about reclaiming something she'd tried to steal. Peace. Asterisk. My name is Derek Lane. I'm a Gulf Coast-born boat mechanic, raised by a dockhand and a Sunday school teacher. I've lived in this neighborhood for 6 years, paid every due, helped neighbors move, cleared storm drains when no one else did. Asterisk, and somehow, I had almost let one woman convince me. I didn't belong here. That part stung more than anything, because when people get power like Karen had, they don't just take your boat. They take your voice, your calm, your space.
Out.
And before you know it, you're walking around your own life like you're the outsider. Asterisk, but now things were different. The HOA board had been restructured. Harold Daniels, the retired president with cancer, had taken a mentorship role again. Jake got voted in as treasurer. A woman named Claudia, who used to get fined for her wind chimes, became vice president. Asterisk and me. Asterisk, I turned them down when they asked me to run for president. Asterisk, I didn't want the seat. I just wanted the community back. So, I gave them something better. Asterisk, I started a volunteer program, Dock and Dine Saturdays. Twice a month, we hosted free boat rides for seniors and low-income families. Kids who'd never been on the water before stood wide-eyed while I let them hold the wheel. I taught them how to spot dolphins, name pelicans, bait a line. Asterisk, and every weekend, I left 2 extra tickets at the community clubhouse, marked anonymous heroes only. Asterisk, sometimes a single mom would show up with tired eyes and an overdue electric bill. Sometimes it'd be an old man whose wife just passed. We never asked questions, just smiled and let them board, because no one deserves to feel invisible in their own neighborhood. Funny thing is, asterisk, the same people Karen used to snub at meetings, they became the heart of it all. Ms. Marla started baking muffins for every trip. Tony, the guy who used to mow the medians, played guitar on deck. It's volunteered to help with cleanup, even if it meant waking up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. Asterisk that boat? Asterisk that abandoned eyesore she wanted hauled off. Asterisk it became the pride of the block. Asterisk the same neighbors who used to walk by without a nod now waved. Asked about tides, donated gas money. And every time a new family moved in, we told them the same thing. Asterisk, you're welcome here. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Asterisk, it wasn't just about HOA rules anymore. It was about rewriting what community means. Asterisk then one night. Maybe 6 months after Karen vanished, I got a knock on my door. It was Ms. Simmons. You probably don't remember her. Most didn't, quiet woman. Lived on the edge of the block with her grandkids. Karen used to fine her for everything. Toys on the lawn, garbage cans a day late, even once for chalk drawings on the driveway. Asterisk she never fought back, just nodded, paid, and kept going. That night, she stood on my porch holding a manila envelope. I wanted to thank you, she said, for standing up, for giving us our voice back. Asterisk, she handed me the envelope. My husband used to serve on a board like this, said it takes one person to speak up before the rest find their courage. Inside was a photo, black and white. Faded edges, asterisk it was, of a boat smaller than mine, but same kind of model, same curve, same hull lines. Asterisk, that was ours, she said softly. First thing we ever bought together. Before the kids, before life got hard. I looked up. You've reminded me that just because something sits still doesn't mean it's abandoned. I didn't have words, just nodded, and promised myself I'd keep building what Karen tried to tear down. Asterisk, because at the end of the day, we're all just boats tied to different docks, trying not to drift. But when one anchor tries to drag us down, sometimes you gotta cut the rope and start sailing again. Asterisk 2. Years passed, Karen never came back. Some say she moved upstate to her sisters. Some say she got involved in another HOA. Poor souls. Me. I stopped caring where she went the moment I stopped giving her power over my peace. But the story didn't end. With her leaving, it ended the day the mayor's office called me. They said they'd seen our Dock and Dine program online. One of the kids who rowed my boat, a boy named Mason, had sent in a letter about Captain Derek, who lets poor kids be rich for a day. They asked if I'd accept a Community Hero Award. I laughed at first, thought it was a prank. But when I showed up to the City Hall auditorium, there was a whole crowd. Neighbors, friends, strangers, people I didn't even know, clapping for me, for my boat, for my little act of resistance that had turned into something bigger than all of us. But the part that hit me the most was when I stepped off stage and a little girl tugged my jacket. She had braids, big eyes, wore a plastic captain's hat someone must have given her. "You're the boatman?" she asked. I smiled. "That's me." She held up a crumpled drawing. It was of my boat, with dolphins jumping behind it. Stick people lined the rails. "My mom said we don't have money for real vacations, but you gave us one anyway." Her mother stood behind her, wiping tears. I knelt down, and all I could say was, "You're always welcome aboard." Because that's the truth. When people try to take your voice, your space, your joy, you fight, not with fists, not with yelling, but with presence, with community, with something so unshakable they can't fine it, ticket it, or label it as abandoned. You become louder by lifting others. And let me tell you something, that little girl. She was the same age my daughter would have been. Yeah, I didn't mention that part, did I? My wife and I lost our baby girl 8 years ago. Complications during delivery? We named her Emma. I buried her with a stuffed dolphin, I guess. Maybe that's why I never gave up on my boat. Because when I sat on that deck alone, waves rocking me under moonlight, it felt like the only place. I could still talk to her. Karen thought she was tagging an object, but she was trying to condemn my grief, my healing, my anchor dot, and that's the thing people like her never understand. Not everything left quiet is broken. Some things are just holding space. So if you're out there feeling overlooked, uninvited, unwanted, let me say this to you directly. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. And you don't need someone else's approval to matter. Stand your ground. Show your papers. Hold your truth. Because one day the same people who mocked you will tell others how they once lived on your block. Just because something isn't loud doesn't mean it's not powerful. Just because someone says you don't belong doesn't mean they're right. And just because they tag you as abandoned doesn't mean you are. Some boats just take longer to launch, but once they do, they change the whole tide. If you've ever been overlooked, mistreated, or made to feel like you don't matter, this story is for you. Drop A if you've ever fought back with truth instead of hate, and don't forget to share this with someone who needs to hear. You are not abandoned. You are becoming.